Right, welcome back to the channel. This will be my second time recording this video. The upload failed. I don't know what happened there. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me for the next part. This is part 3 of No Moon is the Nice Guy. Sorry, my throat is a bit funny at the moment. We're going to be looking at the making of a nice guy. What makes a nice guy, a bit about behind the scenes, mental models. What is it that makes a nice guy tick, right? So let's get into it. So No More Mr. Nice Guy Part 3, right? Which is chapter 2 of the Robert Glover's No More Mr. Nice Guy book, The Making of a Nice Guy, right? So what makes a nice guy? Why are nice guys the way they are, right? Nice guys are the way because it doesn't feel safe or acceptable for a boy or a man to be just who he is, right? It starts as a boy, and as a man, it's the same. He doesn't feel acceptable or safe to be just who he is, right? Society, families, the world around them, all nice guys receive this message some way, right? That's why they became nice guys, right? Then we'll look at how families and societies gave them the belief, right? That they have to be good in order to be loved. Drink some coffee. All right. So I'll look at that. Go into these three things a bit more in depth, right? So what essentially it is, it's a coping mechanism, right? And the being a nice guy is a coping mechanism for a boy or man, right? They sacrifice themselves to be something different. It's a belief that being who he is must be bad or dangerous to be who he is, right? So let's take a look. So coping with abandonment, the most impressionable time, this should be 0 to 7 years old, right? From the time that you're born till about 7 years old this is the most impressionable time of anyone's life, right? This is where you form your mental models, how you interact with the world, the family, everything gets set up. This is the starting point, right? Sorry. So two important facts about children, right? Children are, or kids, babies, are totally helpless, right? They rely on you for everything: food, clothing, housing, warmth, anything, right? Safe. So the greatest fear they have is abandonment. Abandonment to them means death, right? And number two, children are ego-centered, right? What essentially does this mean? Children are ego-centered. It means that they are of the belief that everything happens or everything around them that is happening is because of them, right? Not because of something else, someone else. It's because of them. It's something they did, something they said. It all happens because of them, right? So this is where the mental model starts forming, right? So some facts. Totally helpless. They are dependent on others for food. You ever said that? Yeah. So essentially, let's go to the next part. Right? What a child believes when he experiences any kind of abandonment, right? So what he thinks, what he believes, this was his mental model, how it forms when he experiences any kind of abandonment. And you're never not going to experience any kind of abandonment. You will always experience some form of it, right? Some more than others, but there will always be a hint of it. Right. So Robert Glover, in his book No More Mr. Nice Guy, gives 11 examples. Excuse me. I will name a few here. So the child is hungry and no one feeds him. Right? That's a form of abandonment to them. He cries and no one holds him. Right? Remember, babies, especially babies, when they are born, they're out in the open for the first time, right? So technically, for 9 months, they've been in the stomach. They've always kind of been squashed in with mom. Always had that feel of safety there. Now they come out into the world. There's no more this compact feeling. It's all open. It's new, right? Um, Pretty much the same as if you, from my understanding, that if you went to jail for a long time and then you come out, that's kind of weird feeling. That's why apparently a lot of people go back. I don't know, never been, but it's because coming out to the out and open is scary. It's, getting back used to it is a bit of a struggle, right? That's one way. A parent gets angry at him, right? That can give a bit of a form of abandonment, right? A parent uses him to gratify his or her own needs, right? That also. So you use him to. I'll explain. There'll be an example later on. A parent shames him or her, but technically we're talking about boys. So the parent shames him, all right? Then he feels shame for certain things. Parent hits him, or if a parent says, "I don't want him," remember they are ego-centered. So all these things come back to I am the problem, right? Uh, a parent leaves and doesn't come back in a timely manner. This can be if a parent leaves to go party every day. I mean, there was on the news something about this. But if you go party every day and you just leave the kid at home, that kid now has abandonment issues on that because you don't come back to feed them at a certain time. They don't know what's happening. Kids at that age, or from, I would say, anyways, up until 10, 11, need a structure. It helps them feel safe. They know what to expect. There's not too much new things happening around them. They know what they can do. They always feel safe about that. But yeah. Anyways, bit off topic there. So this creates a mental model that is wrong, right? The wrong kind of mental model, right? Incorrect interpretations of their life and children, and they have no other way to understand that it's not because of them. It's because of the world around them or the parents or whoever, not them, right? So this gives them an inaccurate interpretation, right? Because they're ego-centered, so they have no other way to understand it. They haven't developed that part yet. Um, let's go to the next part, right? So let's look at some of these things. So, what causes the abandonment? Or what causes this? The abandonment experience. Sorry. So toxic shame, right? Toxic shame. What is toxic shame? Toxic shame is caused by the abandonment experiences and the ego-centered interpretations of them, according to Robert Glover, right? So what this essentially means is all the experiences of being abandoned leads them to believe or creates this belief that they are inherently bad, defective, different, or unlovable, right? This gives them the belief that, I am a bad person, I am defective, I'm not what everyone else is, I'm different, or I'm unlovable. You can have all of these, you can have some of these, and again, everyone will experience abandonment issues. It just depends on how much of it you experience and how your mental model forms later on in life. Do you revisit these? Do you rewrite them, or do you keep the same ones? Right. This is a deeply held core belief. Right. This goes down deep to the core. Right. So children have no way to know that this is caused by something outside of themselves. Right. Nothing to do with them. It's the people around them, the expectations, whatever. Right. Let's go to the next one. Right. And this essentially what happens is this abandonment which creates toxic shame. Toxic shame creates a survival mechanism for kids, for all children, which carries through to adulthood. We all have them. I still have them. That's why we're going through this No Mr. Nice Guy by Robert Glover, to try to get rewrite these mental models, get over these things, right? So survival mechanism. What are survival mechanisms? All children have them. All children develop them. These survival mechanisms help the three very important things, right? They help with these three very important things. Number one is cope, right? Cope. In other words, they try to cope with the emotional, physical, and or the physical distress of being abandoned, right? The abandonment, right? They have to find a way to cope with it. All the emotional stress and the physical distress of it, being abandoned, have to figure. So what happens is they create this, try to prevent similar events from happening in their mind, right? Okay, I need a way to cope with this. I can't deal with it. I need to find a way that this does not happen again. And by doing so, what this does is they try to hide their internalized toxic shame or perceived badness, right? And this is what they think. They're not necessarily toxic or they not necessarily have a badness, but they have a perceived badness, perceived toxic shame, and they hide it from themselves and others, right? It was only later in life that I realized I was a nice guy. Um, as I said, I think in a previous video, um, the first year of my relationship with my girlfriend was very rocky, very uphill battle, and that was because I was a nice guy. Um, so I'm on this journey still, figuring out all of this as we go, right? So even though it may seem illogical for children to do something that invites painful or negative attention, right? So negative attention here, the consequences of the consequences of the behavior may feel as bad, may not feel as bad as being lonely or isolated, right? In other words, a kid at that age realizes any attention is good attention for them, right? Even if it's a negative attention, right? They feel lonely, they feel isolated. So anything that gets attention put on them is awesome in their opinion, right? At that time, even if it's painful, even if they have to hide their true selves, right? As long as they get attention, right? So if you want further examples of this, right, you can look in Robert Glover's book, No More Mr. Nice Guy. He has a lot of examples and stuff and the exercises in there. He explains all of this too in a better format, I would say. Um, this is just my understanding and my learning of this, and what's the best way to learn is to teach it. So, or discuss it, should I say. So Robert Lover has real life examples in his book, right? There you can go through some real life examples and see what happens in real situations and how it relates to you. All right, let's continue to the next one. Right, and so in the next one, right, childlike knowledge. So this is actually what is happening in the child's brain at the point when they start forming the toxic shame or the abandonment issues, right? There must be something wrong with me. Remember, kids are ego centered. So there must be something wrong with me because when I cry, no one comes, right? So kids at that age, again, they are completely helpless. They are fully dependent on the parents or whoever's around them, guardians or whatever. So when I cry, no one comes. So they start, their knowledge is, oh, okay, I am the problem, right? Or if mom gets that look on her face, right? That look like, oh, I'm in trouble, or like, I don't like you kind of look. Um, then they know, okay, something must be wrong with me because mom looks at me like she hates me. Mom looks at me like she is over it. I don't know, right? Another one is dad left and didn't come back. So I must be the problem. I must be the reason why he didn't come back. Meantime, it could be that he doesn't love his wife anymore. They got a divorce, or but the kids don't understand this, right? Or the mom cheated, he left. They still don't understand this. It's because of me, right? And another one is mom has to do everything for me. So if the mother or even the father um, complains like, "Oh, I have to do this for you and do this for you and do this for you," they internalize that as there must be something wrong with me because mom has to do this, this, this. Dad has to do this, this, this for me, right? Or if his father yells at him all the time, you, it's also one. Then another one is these childhood experiences also caused the young boy to believe I'm only good enough and lovable when I'm different from dad. Mom needs me. I don't make any mistakes and I make good grades. Right? So these childhood experiences, right, teach them that they're only good enough and only lovable when, for example, if the dad left and didn't come back, and the mother says, "Oh, you shouldn't be like your father. You shouldn't do this, 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 this," right? Then he's like, "Okay, so if I have these traits, I'm not good," which 9 out of 10 or 9.9 out of 10, he will have the same traits or similar traits to his father, as all men do, similar manly traits, and he'll try to deny these traits, which in turn makes him feel toxic shame for having them, right? Same with mom needs me, right? So if mom's only nice and lovable with me is only when she needs me for something, whether it's emotional or to do something, whatever. And as soon as she gets what she needs, it's kind of like go away. Again, that's oh, okay. I'm only lovable and good enough when dot dot dot. Right. Same with the others. You get the picture. Let's go to the next part. Right. So the next thing here is you get two kinds of nice guys. Right. There are two kinds of nice guys out there. There's that I'm a bad nice guy and I'm a good nice guy. I'm a bad nice guy. Right. He believes everyone can see how bad he is. Therefore, he will promote his badness. Right. You can see it, so I won't hide it. I will promote it. I am so bad, right? Then you've got on the other hand, I'm a good, nice guy, right? And he believes he is one of the nicest guys you will ever meet, right? You'll never meet anyone as nice as him. Um, and according, as Robert Glover says, the worst one or the one that's a bit more damaging is I'm a good, nice guy because he believes he is one of the nicest guys. So he is blind or refuses to see reality and to see it's kind of masking the core belief that he's got toxic shame or that he's bad, kind of not dealing with the issues. He hasn't even realized he's got issues. I was this one. I was kind of a bit of both, depending on the social circles I was in. I would be the good, nice guy with everyone that was a bit um, older or, not quite my friend circle. And then with the friends and at the parties and whatnot, I'm so bad. Um, I can do everything so bad. Look how bad I am, kind of attitude. Uh, yeah, both are not good. But I would say that I'm good. I'm good, nice guy is a bit more problematic, only for the fact that he doesn't recognize that he is a nice guy. A lot of people go through life not even realizing that they're a nice guy. Um, I was fortunate enough to run into some problems and figure out like, hey, life is not going as it should be going. What's going on? And got some feedback, and that's when I discovered No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert Glover, and definitely worth doing it. Let's take a look. Like the next slide. So the next part is the breaking free exercise, right? That Robert Glover gives. Right? So you can essentially get a piece of paper or a journal. I think a journal will be better in the sense of you can write some things down keep track of them, write messages down and then like revisit them in a sense and write the correct interpretations of them afterwards. That's what I would do. So you get a piece of paper or a journal, right? And I would then sit down and think about messages from your family that made you feel you couldn't be yourself. Um, Trying to think of some messages from mine. So one of them that I can remember offhand right now is one Christmas. Um, some family members were getting Christmas presents, and I was playing with them, and so I went over to their house, and they got told to sit down, and they got the bag of presents, and obviously I was informed that I'm not included. However, at that age you don't fully understand. Understand now. Don't hold any grudges or anything, but didn't understand then. So I sat down with them, and then everyone got a present except me. And even though they said that to me, I did kind of feel like, but why me? I must be bad. I'm not accepted. Let's put it that way, right? So that's just one of the examples, right? And then you can, if you want, share the experiences with someone you trust. Talk to someone. I would recommend a man, right? A male friend or someone you trust, family or whatever. And then just the feelings that came up as you write or talk about it. What did you feel? How do you feel about it, right? This is not to blame anyone or anything like that, or to hold grudges. No, this is just to name these challenging experiences. For the example I gave, to fix that kind of that thing, it wasn't that I wasn't accepted or I wasn't loved. It was just generally I kind of gate trashed their Christmas gift giving party thing, which they didn't account that I would be there. Perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I internalized a different belief, being the egocentric, centered self. Excuse me. Yeah, right. And then so now you just correct it, like, oh, okay, it wasn't because of me. I nothing bad about me, right? So yeah, so you just naming these childhood experiences, you're placing the old messages with the new accurate beliefs about yourself, right? What does actually happen? What is the actual belief, right? And to understand where your nice guy script comes from, or your mental model, right? So your mental model comes from, we'll go revisit the starting point, and then with revisiting and re-evaluating it, you can start changing your mental model, I would say. So you change the mental model that you're operating by, and essentially you'll have a better life. So that is the exercise. Thanks for coming with me on this video. Comment down below, what do you think? Do you have some more to add? Do you not agree with something? Do you think, or just share your experiences, some of your experiences? Great. Thanks. See you in the next video. Cheers.